Hello, my name is Henry Emphrey, and this is a AppGameKit game development tutorial. Now in this tutorial, I'm going to show you how to do 3D rotation. And not just 3D rotation, but 3D rotation where the controls remain consistent and your controls will remain the same no matter where you rotate it. Because we all like consistent controls, right? Okay, so at the top you have the usual stuff. It's the stuff that you have once you try to launch a new project in AppGameKit. And I just named the title Rotation Tutorial. But below is the game logic. And first thing I did was I set up a grass. Grass is just a JPG file that's inside of my media folder. I usually use PNG, but for this tutorial, I guess for some reason I had this JPG in here, so I'll go with this. But my AppGameKit folder is just on my desktop. It's on my desktop inside my rotation folder, and the JPG that I just showed you is inside my media folder. Grass JPG right here. So all I did was take the Grass JPG right here and wrote the name here. So AppGameKit will pull it into this game engine. And next I set up a platform. It's just 200 by 200 pixels wide. First 200 has to do it going in the X direction. X has to do it going right and left. And the second 200 has to do with the forward and backwards direction, or the Z direction, so that our plane will stretch back and forth in the Z direction or in 3D space. I named it platform, and I took the name that I gave that platform and put it here so that we can rotate the platform. I rotated 90 degrees to the X direction so that it can look normal when it appears on screen or appear at all. Second, I put the platform and grass together so that the grass texture can be on the platform. And the reason that I use grass is so that we can see where we're at while we're moving in our game. Next, I created a box. And this is the character you won't see because we're doing first person. So this box will actually be behind the camera. And these three numbers has to do with XYZ coordinates. 2 pixels wide going in the X and Y direction. 6 pixels tall going in the Y direction, which is up and down. And 2 pixels going in a Z direction, which is forward and backwards in 3D space. Okay, so we create the box, and we took that box, the name or in the name of the box, and we put it behind the camera so you won't see it. And then we just set up our camera here. And then we have this do loop. See? Do loop. I don't know if you can see that. But I'm going to show you this again in this full-blown version. And I'm going to show you this tutorial without the comments later on. And you're going to notice when I take away the comments are these green words in front of the 2 slashes. Right here, right here. You're going to notice it's not really that much code at all, really. So I'll show you a version of this code without the comments later. Okay, so next we have it so that if you press the up arrow key, we attach the move speed to the camera, and we put both a character, which will again be behind the camera, and we attached our character and the camera together and put it into this function right here, so that when we press the up button, we will move forward in a Z direction. Z has to do with moving forward in 3D space. So that's what this function does. Next, we did the same thing. We gave our backwards movement a variable called canMove2, and we set it to our move speed, but this time we're going to be moving in the Z direction backwards in the negative direction with this minus here. So what we did was we attached our character and the camera together so that both can move backwards in 3D space via this move object local Z, or the Z function here. Allows you to move forward and backwards in 3D space in the Z direction. Next, we create another variable. This one will allow us to move in the rightward direction. Again, we attached our move speed here, the same move speed that we did for all these variables, this move speed here. And then, but this time we put our character and the camera together and attached it to going in the X direction. Remember, X have to do with going right and left. This time it'll be going in the rightward direction whenever we press the right arrow key. And then last, we set up a variable for moving left called CamMove4. Again, we attached our move speed variable to the camera, but this time with this minus here, we'll be going to the left when the left arrow key is pressed. And we just attached our character and our camera together so that it can move in the negative X direction. Again, with this minus here. Okay, so that's that. Now we're dealing with our rotation. Okay, so here at first I set up my rotation speed. I set it to a float variable. Like I said, in AppGameKit, you have to specify that. Unlike an integer variable, you could just do this and just put 1 or regular numbers like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But if you're dealing with decimals, you have to specify that. So we're doing it with a decimal here, so I had to put this function called as float. Okay, so next, here we're dealing with the comma key or the left bracket key here, which shares the same button as the comma on the keyboard. And here we set up a variable for our camera's rotation movement. So the camera's going to move at a speed of 1 times 0.5. So all we did was just define these things and we set it to a variable. And remember, I gave our camera a name of 1, an ID of 1. Yeah, we gave our camera an ID of 1. So we're setting our camera here and we're setting it to this speed right here. So the camera's going to move. And here we're just finalizing our camera's rotation here. See, again, we gave ID of 1, just like we did here. So we're using it here and here. And we're just getting the angles. So we're getting the camera's X direction and the camera's Y direction and setting it to the camera speed. And we're not dealing with the Z direction in this situation, so we just set that to 0. And remember, none of this happens until we hold down the comma key or the left bracket key. Otherwise, it won't happen. And we had a very similar setup when we press the right bracket key or the period key on the keyboard. We gave this its own variable and we set it to 1 times rotation speed, which we gave amount of 0.5 pixels per second. So we set that to a variable, and then once again we attached the camera to it. We use the camera's ID of 1, and we're setting it to the move camera local X function. And we finalized our rotation right here. We took the camera ID again, took into account the X rotation or the X angle that the camera's facing and the Y angle that the camera's facing, and we set our speed to plus right here. And then we're not dealing with the Z direction, so we just put a 0. So notice that when I'm dealing with the left, I put minus here, and then when we're dealing with the right, I put the plus here. Set camera rotation just finalizes the rotation to make the rotation possible. Okay, so that's that. And then we just finalize the camera's position. Remember, we gave the camera an ID of 1. We attach Henry to the camera, or attach the camera to Henry. And then we're dealing with Henry's rotation. So this is our box again. And then we're just taking into account the angle in which Henry's facing, and the camera's angle, and Henry's Z angle, or where Henry's at in 3D space. Okay, so that sets up our rotation. And then we end with the sync function here, and then we end with the loop function here. Here's the code in its entirety. Stop the video as needed. our code without the comments. Okay, so let's launch our game and see what happens. Okay, here's our game. So when we move forward, we just moving forward normally. And I'm just holding down the up key. Likewise, I'm press the down key, move backwards. And everything looks normal here. We're moving around in 3D space. So same thing when I press the left arrow key to go to the left. And same thing when I press the right arrow key to go to the right. Now, he goes to the fun part, the rotation. See, if you use my code, you can rotate and you can still press up and the arrow key will still move forward like it usually does. And the controls won't change. You can move backwards and same thing will happen. Or to the left using the left arrow key or to the right using the right arrow key. See, my controls don't change. My controls are consistent. Ooh, let's go again. Okay, so now let's test the right rotation. Now, for the left rotation, I pressed the comma button on the keyboard, or the left bracket button on the keyboard, same thing. Now I'm going to press the period button, or the right bracket on the keyboard. And rotate to the right. And once again, our controls are the same when I press the up button. Up button will always remain the up button. And down button will always remain the down button, and so forth. See, going backwards, going forwards. Try one time. Press the period button. Wow, I can see everything. Move forward, backwards, left, and right. Okay, so that's all I wanted to show you. You can take what you learned in this tutorial and expand on it. Until next time, thanks. Bye.